This is the Las Vegas real estate market update for September 2023, and this is not your usual market update that you're getting from just any old realtor. First of all, I've been doing real estate here in Las Vegas since 2009. My mother was a realtor here since 1976, so it's kind of in my blood, folks. But also, I believe the information that I'm providing is top-notch and not being really talked about by too many agents out there, if any at all. We've been in a bit of a holding pattern as far as the market's been concerned. It's been like kind of the same in Las Vegas, but now we're seeing some changes. So I'm going to talk about those changes. I hope you stick with me. And while you're at it, if you don't mind giving a little like, a little thumbs up on the video, and subscribing to the channel if you want to know this information week in and week out. That's what I'm here for. My name is Rob Howe. I work for Elite Realty, and I'm the ROCKSTAR Realtor. Are you a rockstar? Are you ready for the ROCKSTAR treatment? If you are, stick with me on the other side, folks. All right, folks. So thanks for sticking with me. And again, please give this channel a sub if you would like to know more, and a little thumbs up on the video. It helps the algorithm. It helps me get to more people. And really, growing my YouTube channel for me is about growing my ability to send out this information to more people and be more helpful to you. That's really what I think is important, is offering something that you're not getting anywhere else. Something that actually helps you put the puzzle pieces together if you're interested in real estate, and obviously in particular Las Vegas real estate. So let's get right into it. The monthly numbers came out from August to September. Every month there was lower, it was like low inventory, and we weren't budging. And there was predictions that inventory was going to start going higher, by different people, and that, the market's going to change and all this. Well, in my weekly numbers, I have been predicting that this is going to come, and it finally is here. I said in my last Robnostication, which is where I kind of prognosticate on what's happening next, I did say that we would go up to 1.8 months of supply. We actually went up to 1.9 months of supply. So a little bit more inventory than even I expected, but I was kind of just knowing that it was going to go up. So calling an up on that was what I was really looking for. So inventory went up, folks. What does this mean to you as a buyer or seller? Well, we're going to go through that a little bit in this video. The sellers are on the clock, folks. If you're thinking about selling a home, you should be getting to it ASAP. Because I don't think that, at least for the next 6, maybe 9 months, maybe longer, that it gets a lot brighter for sellers. It's not going to be awful. I don't believe it'll be awful. But if you're somebody in a position that needs to sell, which not everybody does, but if you are, I would take that advice to heart. And I'll give you more information as to why and what I'm seeing. We got more trends, folks. My 7-day update is going to tell us more today. I'm excited to give that to you. But for now, I'm going to stick with what the numbers came out as. We did have a little bit lower volume in sales. So we had less sales in August to September, just a little bit. And that trend is going to continue because we're getting into the slower time of the year towards the end of the year. Summer usually hot. If it's hot outside in Vegas, it's hot in the market. And that doesn't mean the floorboards are falling out. It just means what we have right now is a market that is not easy for everybody, especially if you're a local and used to the threshold that has been going on as far as price-wise here in Las Vegas. If you're coming from elsewhere, and this is a majority of our buyers are coming from elsewhere where their threshold is higher. Not only that, but they're looking for what the comfort that Vegas offers financially. Okay, so your cost of living, your cost to purchase a home, the taxes, so on and so forth, and you're getting in on a city that is absolutely, gangbusters. Really, it's growing. We've only been growing, and there's a lot more on the table where that came from. So we're seeing a little bit less buyer activity. We're seeing inventory go up. Those are the important notes of what happened in our numbers. Now, I would absolutely point out to the lower price ranges like condos and townhomes are still going up in price. This shouldn't be a surprise because what's happening is people are meeting this, inflated home price. We got prices are high on the homes, and then of course interest rates are high, and so that causes people to look at a lower price range. They don't want to rent, they want to buy, they want to be able to own. They're sick and tired of renting, so they're going to do it, and they're just going to go ahead and spend a little less on buying the property and do that with a townhome or a condo. Rates are unstable. They're continuing to be unstable. Interest rates will continue to be unstable. It's probably to the upside. Now, some weeks, the mortgage bond market, it dictates what's going to happen with the mortgage rates. So every day, a mortgage rate could change a little bit, and in a week, it could change, somewhat drastically, and that's why it's unstable right now and to the upside, unfortunately. So what I'm seeing is that, the Fed is talking about they might pause and not do any more, rate hikes for at least September and probably November, although there's some talk of that's when they're going to look at things. But either way, they're saying maybe we'll hold off. There's a 60% chance out there that they're not going to raise rates. So only a 40% chance that they will. And I think that is continuing, especially with these rates that are unstable to the upside. So if the bond market pushes up rates, the Fed doesn't have to. They don't have to make a quarter point adjustment to the upside. So look for that, folks. I think that's what you're dealing with. And so if I'm a buyer right now, if I'm a seller right now, what are the differences? If I'm a seller, I want to get my property on the market before I start having more and more competition. And in my 7-day market update, I'm going to tell you what's happening with that in a very direct manner. And if I'm a buyer, now that's telling me, hold on, what are you saying? You're saying sellers got to get out there. Well, what's happening in the future for me as a buyer? Well, I think you might be able to have a little, not just might, you're going to have better negotiation power. And that means that potentially you can have the seller pay some costs for you, that you're going to maybe be able to ask for that rate buy down, which is going to be very important. If you want to know more about what a rate buy down is and not be confused out of your mind, I'd love to help you with that. So, here's my number. Contact me anytime. If you'd like to email me, I can talk to you that way. I don't care how you get a hold of me. As I always say, you can throw a rock through my window with a note tied around it. I don't care how you get a hold of me. Just do it when you're ready. If you're a buyer and you want to know what's happening in the next 6 to 9 months, in my mind, then I'm going to let you know that I believe that your opportunity lies ahead. I've been talking about what the builders are looking at with Angela O'Hare on her channel. We talked about how the builders towards the end of the year, they start giving you a little better deals. So that I do see happening, first of all, with builders. And if there's more inventory to continue to sort of just slowly snowball, then the resellers are going to do it as well. The people listing their homes on the multiple listing service are going to need to backload those sales a little bit with some help to the buyers. Your opportunity to have more options, more available properties to look through, and a better opportunity to buy down an interest rate with the seller's money, that's ahead. All right, let me jump to the 7-day market update, folks. 7-day market update is very important in my mind because it really does give us a micro assessment of what's happening. And so let's see what's happening. New properties, new listings, back on market and coming soon on market, those are totaling 981 in the last 7 days. So 2 weeks ago, it was at 945, staying very steady as far as what we're seeing come on the market, staying very steady. And that's important to know because while we're not seeing a big rush of a bunch of people, extra people putting their properties on the market, it's been about the same. And what we're seeing is a bit of a slowing of people actually pulling those properties off the market, which we see right here when we go to under contract, no show, under contract, show, and contingent upon sale. Under contract, no show means it's under contract and they're not showing it. Under contract show means you can still see it, but they have a contract on the property. So you might be able to view it, and maybe put in a backup offer, but rarely do people do any of that. Contingent upon sale means there's a contingency involved. Usually it means that the buyer has to sell another property in order to buy the property they're looking at. That number is at 705. So we have a slight drop if I look back 2 weeks ago, because that number was 717. But staying relatively stable, but slightly lower as far as properties being pulled off the market. Not a huge change there. And also in this one, expired, temporary off the market, withdrawn conditional. Expired means the listing expired, and so that it's just done. It goes into whether or not the seller wants to relist it with somebody else or whatever. Temporarily off the market, maybe there's something they're doing. Sometimes they're doing work on the property. Maybe the seller needs a little pause. They can't show the property for a little while. There's a number of reasons why. Withdrawn means that they withdrew the property from the market. They are no longer selling that property, and they also removed it completely from their agent. They are completely withdrawn, and they could go and relist with another agent if they wanted to. Withdrawn conditional means that agent that had that listing still has a contract on that. So there is a condition to that withdrawal, and so technically the agent could still get paid for if there was a sale involved. Gets into some complication, but those designations, we have 325, and it's actually much higher, 247. So 247 versus 325. Not much to make of that, other than I do think a lot of those are going to come back on the market. The expired and withdrawn, those two have very high likely, and certainly the temporary off the market, likely that they'll come back on the market. This is the big one, folks. What sold in the last week? 453 properties sold in the last week. Well, 2 weeks ago, that number was 607. And so this 453 number is the lowest that I've ever seen for my 7-day. It may be the lowest that we've had in a very, very long time. And I've only been doing this for a few months as far as the 7 days concerned, so I don't know, but I believe it may be the lowest for a very long time in Las Vegas as far as volume is concerned of sales. So that tells us that we don't have as many properties closing and getting taken away, and that's why we're starting to see listings pile up a little bit. Where are we seeing that? Well, let's look at the total amount of properties on market. This is where we're seeing the biggest change. Doesn't sound like much, folks, but we have 5,521 total sales on the market in total. And 2 weeks ago, that number was 5,415, so 521. So we have over 100 increase, and that's been happening consistently now for a number of weeks. We're seeing more inventory every week. That will continue, folks. It is going to continue. So if I'm a seller, I don't like seeing more competition. If I'm a buyer, I like seeing more opportunity. I like seeing more options that I have for available properties. This means eventually that I can have stronger negotiation power, and I can muscle a property for a better price, for better terms. So as I see the year playing out, I don't see Vegas taking a nosedive value-wise, but I definitely see the opportunity to get in and have better, like I said, better options of what you're looking to buy, and getting the seller to help you out with some of these things. If you got a high interest rate and the seller can contribute maybe a sizable amount to your situation there that helps you buy down that interest rate, this turns back the clock on the interest rate. So if you're at a 7, let's say, and you can get enough money from the seller to drop it by 2 points, that puts you at 5%. That's going back in time. That's what I'd be looking at if I'm a buyer. If I got to get into a home, don't want to rent. A lot of people are not renters. If you're not a renter, well, you're my people, okay? That's who I'm here to help. And I understand some people just won't rent, okay? Now, some people have to rent right now. And so if you're looking forward you may have to wait it out a little bit and see what happens over time. Right now, I think we're looking at higher rates for a little while, and I do think Vegas will survive that pretty well, but other areas in the country won't, and that is going to be the situation at hand. We will see how that all plays out, folks. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you subscribe to my channel. I hope you're letting me know how you feel about the information I'm giving to you. I'd sure like to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up. And, you know, the last thing I'm going to ask you to do, I think it's the most important thing. Have a very good week, and thank you for watching. Bye, everybody.